Bringer of Rain Boxing here, folks. So, I wasn't planning on posting anything right now, but I just had, kind of like an epiphany here as I'm studying some tape on Errol Spence Jr. And I believe the fight we should look at more than anything is his most recent fight because that's the closest version of Errol Spence we will see against Pacquiao, the guy we saw against Danny Garcia. And I've been watching that fight a couple times, and I'm starting to have this idea. Okay, I'm starting to get this hunch that potentially the Pacquiao style. We always talk about styles make fights. I think Manny Pacquiao style could pose to be a stylistic nightmare for Errol Spence. Now, I've had videos chronicling the build up to this fight, and we've talked about it at length. What Pacquiao's advantages could be potentially and what Spence's advantages could be. But one thing that I've mentioned many times here on this channel is the speed, the hand speed and foot speed being in favor of Manny Pacquiao. That Errol Spence just simply in the pocket during a firefight and in exchanges, he's not going to be able to keep up with the hand speed of Pacquiao. Pacquiao will get 3 punches to his 1. And the foot speed as well. Manny Pacquiao is just plain quicker on his feet. He's got legendary all-time great footwork. He's going to be able to dart in and out of the pocket while his legs are still fresh, rip off combinations, and get out of the firing range before Errol Spence can even respond. But, folks, what I'm watching here in this Danny Garcia fight, it's actually even more of an advantage for Pacquiao than I thought. What I'm seeing is a guy who is kind of telegraphing his punches a little bit. I mean, Danny Garcia is fighting really tentatively. He's not being aggressive at all. He's letting Errol Spence just walk to him. But what I see is Errol Spence just kind of slowly marching forward, cutting no angles, setting no traps, not using a lot of deception. There's not a lot of deception to Errol Spence's game. He's coming right in through the front door. He's laying out that jab. It's a decent jab. But from what I'm seeing in the Danny fight, the jab isn't that quick. I mean, he's got a long reach, and trust me, it could connect on Pacquiao, but the jab is not snapping out like a Gennady Golovkin jab or a Terence Crawford jab. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to control Manny Pacquiao with that punch. And if he can't, then this is truly going to be a stylistic nightmare for Errol Spence. I see a guy who is walking forward, no deception at all. He's almost kind of plodding. His feet look kind of stuck in cement at some points. And he's telegraphing his shots. And Danny Garcia, I don't know if he's gun shy. Well, he was always more of a B-level fighter anyway. But a guy like Danny Garcia just can't do anything with it. I mean, Spence is just the more physically imposing fighter. He's imposing his will on Danny. I can promise you one thing. Pacquiao will not allow Errol Spence to impose his will on him. He'll have to knock him out cold. Manny Pacquiao is never letting another man in the ring dictate the pace like that and that kind of style. If you want to beat Manny Pacquiao, you need to use ring craftiness. You need to use a high boxing IQ, set traps, lure him in to a secret weapon, I don't know, a counter right hand from hell that Marquez landed. That's how you beat Manny Pacquiao. I'm watching the Spence guy marching straight forward. That's not going to work against Manny Pacquiao. And that high guard, let me mention that high guard he's got, okay? He's fighting these guys like Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, guys who are tentative, who are unwilling to unload on him. Folks, I'm seeing Spence march forward that guard up like that. I can see perfect punching opportunities for Pacquiao in there. Perfect, opportunities. Pacquiao and his fight with Thurman, his last fight, we'll go off of that. Thurman had a much better defense, in my opinion, defensive mindset when he tried to come forward with that guard. Spence is just kind of lackadaisical, and I could see a crease in the middle there when he has his hands up, And I just think Manny Pacquiao's left hand is fast enough to sneak in there. It's a straight punch. It's got no loop to it. It's straight as an arrow. I could see it sneaking through that guard and a right hook coming over that guard too as Spence is marching forward. Guys, I'm starting to think that really this could be bad news for Errol Spence. Okay. Also in that Danny fight, what I see a lot is winging left hands. I forget that Spence is a southpaw sometimes. But he's using his backhand, and he's got a lot of power there. But like I said, telegraphed. You could see it coming from a mile away. A ring vet like Manny is going to be able to pick up that tell and pick off that punch. Thread a left hand right down the middle. Hit him right on the chin. I could see something like that happening. Because, folks, rewatch this Danny Garcia fight. Errol Spence is walking forward, no traps, no deception, is heaving heavy left hands, power punches. And the power punches are not coming out straight, guys. There's a lot of loop there, which means opportunity for Manny Pacquiao to evade, or if he wants to take, a step to his side and let go a counter left hand down the middle, because that punch is straight as an arrow, like I said. There's no loop there. It's one of the best punches in boxing. Guys, I don't know. The more that I watch, the more that I'm shocked that Manny Pacquiao was such a huge underdog. And the styles here look like they're kind of starting to play in favor for Manny Pacquiao. I'm not sure. I'll keep watching more of the fights. But what I'm getting right now is not good for Spence, man.